Hello and welcome to CR Wrestling Commentary. Hey, we're back, Cedric and Cedric, and woo, eating cashews. This is you can tell by the title. Tell by the title. Not gonna be happy. So modern wrestling fans prove why they need not judge anything when it comes to wrestling. And the reason I say modern wrestling fans is because they don't know how to judge anything. They don't care about history. They care about spots. They don't care about how it was built up. They care about who did what. They don't even really care about the ending. They don't even care about the ending. They just care about moments. And you know what's weird? I'm gonna come clean on this. Roughly 5 days ago, 5 days ago, I was sitting there like, there is a issue I have with modern wrestling fans, and I didn't know the right word. I just know that when I see chat, and I remember certain commentary from people, they cared about the moment. That was a nice moment. Well, yeah, they have the chance to set up good moments. It devalues everything about wrestling. Actually, it aids in devaluing wrestling. And so I am trying to figure out something else I can do to upload, something I can do that I got a lot of moves and who innovated them. And I want to share that with you. I can't do it the way I wanted to. Maybe I could just do uploads of who innovated it, yada, yada, yada. So I tried to put in the search of, like, what was it? The top 10 or so best wrestling moves or so. I tried to put in something. I can't remember. And this other thing popped up. This other thing. Top 15 most important wrestling moves of all time. I was like, LOL. And I mean, I guess I'll put in the description the link to it. It's something that it starts off. It's a picture of Steve Austin stunning Sergeant Slaughter. And it said in July 2016, Samir Khalaf of Deadspin.com produced a piece in which he called the Stone Cold Stunner the most important wrestling move of all time. In the article, Khalaf provides an excellent history of the Stunner. An excellent history of the Stunner? Yeah. A move that began before Steve Austin was ever Stone Cold, and before Austin became one of the biggest draws in all of North American pro wrestling. No knowledgeable wrestling fan should understate the importance of the Stunner to the industry. A wrestler is just a guy, after all, unless he has a memorable finishing move. That is the sound and words of a sheer weak-minded mark. That is the hallmark of the modern mark. It's just a guy unless they have a memorable finishing move. Not even I was that messed up when I was 12. Austin, Diamond Dallas Page, and Randy Orton are just three of the wrestlers who had finishing moves that could be completed seemingly out of nowhere, and that won matches against some legends of the industry. Whoa, so that's your criteria, huh? Khalaf's excellent post got us thinking, what are the most important wrestling moves of all time? And such lists would have to include some of the basics that are witnessed. So basically they go over the wear down holds and stuff like that, resting holds. They sound like a stupid ass mark. And I can't even be gentle or nice about this because of how it's all portrayed, how it's all put out there. And if I'm offending you, I don't give a shit. I really don't. Why? Because I am tired of people, instead of learning, they want to be offended. Instead of thinking about what they have been doing and trying to advance who they are and what they are and what they know, they just rather be offended and then come down on somebody. You know what? Deal with it. Mature up a little bit with this stuff. You know? I've got my regrets. I wish, like I've always said, Dirty Dutch Mantel and other heels and stuff at the time, I took for granted. I took them for granted because I didn't understand. I didn't know. Hey, I was just a little kid. All right, just broke into double digits. Still, I wish I could go back and be like, man, I get it now. That's the point of it. But they don't know. They just live for the moves, the moments. That's all. They don't care about anything else. So let me go ahead and go over the 15 moves. I wrote this stuff down. All right, because they got pictures of, you know. Look, this is all they know. They said it, all they know is WWE stuff. That's all they really care about. WWE, like nothing is outside of it. And that's the sad part. They don't know anything. And I'm going to go by the names of them. I'm just let you, they don't know anything. And I got a philosophy about professional wrestling now that dwarfs my thinking 5 years ago. So, okay, so I'm gonna go over this, the 15 to 1. Top 15 most important wrestling moves of all time. Number 15, punch. Now, I agree with this as one of the top 15, but they don't even know why. Okay, matter of fact, look, I ain't even really read it. There's a picture of, I guess, Seth Rollins, I don't know who the fuck this is, punching Kane. Okay, so I'm going to just read this. Pro wrestling is ridiculous in many ways. Many ways. Well, okay, pro wrestling is ridiculous in many ways. Perhaps the one rule that tops the list is that using the closed fist punch during a match is illegal and should lead to a disqualification finish. And yet, just about everybody who works in the WWE throws punches. They clearly don't know any other wrestling program out there because they all do this. Punches are executed early on in the contest. They are used when the babyface is firing up for a comeback. Heck, Big Show has a single punch. We know as a finisher. Brawlers, technical wrestlers, and cruiserweights alike all throw. And see, this is how a mark talks. They throw worked punches now and again. In fact, try to think of the last WWE match not involving female wrestlers that did not include at least one punch. Even the simplest of wrestling moves can get fans attending a show to leap into action, in part because we still love the idea of two hated rivals slugging it out inside of a ring, even if we know that the punches are not doing any real damage. That is a mark talking. That is a fantastic mark right there. Would you agree with that, woman?
Yeah.
Gotta sit there and call it, it's a work. It's not real. It's fake. It's fake.
There's no need to even go over that.
Not even close to a need. But they gotta do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's jump into this. Okay, so punch, then you got clothesline, then they got headlock, armbar. I'm like, seriously? They don't really know what things are called. And I admit, hey, look, others will say it's a mark move to know the names of the moves and whatnot. But me, there's reasons why I want to know the names of the moves. Because I like to do commentary when I do my show. I like to know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, I just can't. Although it works for others, I can't just say what a maneuver. You know, that's a spectacular move. What a moment right there. Did you see what those two did? I just can't. For me, I can't get down with it. You know, it's just not me. But, you know, rest holes. Oh, you don't call them rest holes. Oh my goodness. Drop kick. It's good. But they don't know anything. They are literally basing this all off of WWE. They don't know anything else. You know, I've watched Lucha Libre. I've watched Japan wrestling. I've watched 3 different brands, male brands, 2 different female brands, okay, or territories or companies, organizations, associations, whichever you want to call it. You know, I've seen WWF, WWE, you know, then they are basically 2 different things in sort of ish. National Wrestling Alliance, old day and modern, which are pretty much the same. You know, Ring of Honor, AEW, you know, TNA when it was amazing and the transition to when it sucked. I've seen all this stuff. Singapore wrestling, I've seen that. Middle Kingdom wrestling, watch that. I've seen a lot of wrestling. So, I know what I'm talking about, people. So, the flatliner, which is a front Russian leg sweep. You know, the side Russian leg sweep, they fall back. Supposed to hurt the back of the head. Sometimes the back, well, you know what? The front Russian leg sweep, I don't know who innovated it. I probably wrote that down somewhere. I don't know. But they call it the flatliner. I forgot who did it. Was it Mortis or somebody? I don't know. Canyon. I don't fucking know. But they call it the flatline. It's probably some, I don't know, like, I don't know, atom bomb or some shit. I don't know. They did the thing, call it the flatliner. And it's like, that's all it's going to be, is flatliner every time, because, you know, let's not try to find better. So that's also the sound of, that's not even, look, this person got, the people that came up with this list got to come up to mark in general. They got to come up to a mark. All right. This is what you call like tribal Stockholm syndrome of stupidity, when all your information comes from WWE. You know, that's what's sad. When all your information comes from one company, you're pathetic. You're done. Don't write. Don't do anything. The next, powerbomb. Important move, right? Tombstone or standard pile driver. Okay. You know, tombstone / standard. The 2 different pile drivers, delivered and taken different ways. Suplex. That's what they wrote. I had to put vertical. Why? Because you say suplex, that's anything where you lift your opponent and your hands are locked, or you got them in a headlock or whatnot and do that. So, and yeah, there is a front net lock vertical suplex. Not done anymore for certain injury reasons. So in the pictures, you know, it's a vertical suplex. So I put vertical so I can let y'all know what they meant, but they didn't know anything. Figure 4, because, you know, they love Flair and Charlotte. Then the DDT, because, you know, Jake Roberts, the first one. I can't remember the person's name, but DDT was done before Jake Roberts. So, you know, hey, Stunner, because they don't know the original name, Whippersnapper, you know, before Steve Austin, way before. Well, not way before, but like roughly about 94, 96 range, I think, when that move was innovated. Hold on. Next one. This is how much of a WWE mark they are. Hogan leg drop. You with me, Cedar? You still awake?
Yes.
Hogan leg drop. Not a guillotine drop, as some call it. Not the leg drop, jumping leg drop. Hogan leg drop. Because what else do they know? Does no one else in WWE done a leg drop that they can reference? Somebody's got, I know that 1, 2, 3 Kid, he had a dashing leg drop, which is pretty cool. I don't even know how he got his leg up in time without kicking him in the damn face or the neck. But hey, awesome. You know, now that's number 3. Number 2, elbow drop. Not the regular elbow drop. Not even Dusty Rhodes style elbow drop. Diving, Randy Savage elbow drop. That's the picture. I'm going on the picture. I'm not reading that crap. And then number 1. What do you think number 1 is, Cedra?
At the people's elbow.
No, you already no. Okay, anyone listening?
Figure 4?
Already went for already mentioned the figure 4.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's number 1. What do y'all think listening? Go ahead and pause it. Give yourself 5 or 10 seconds. What do you think it is without looking it up? Okay, so pause it, and then when it's unpaused, I'm gonna just okay. So here it is. Now it should be unpaused. Number 1 is super kick. The most played out move. It's so played out, it's not even a finisher anymore. It's not even a finisher. It's not. I'm gonna read this shit because I didn't read it. I just saw a picture of Shawn Michaels. That's all. I just saw. Oh, Randy Savage doing the elbow drop on the Bret Hart. Shawn Michaels super kicking Ric Flair. Yeah, listen, you can tell that this piece is produced in the summer of 2016. All jokes and sarcasm aside, the super kick has become a pro wrestling phenomenon of its own thanks to a variety of wrestlers. Shawn Michaels made sweet chin music a finishing move copied by would-be pro wrestlers around the world. So you don't know who innovated the super kick, huh? Now we see super kick parties executed by the Young Bucks and copied by the Usos in the WWE. The super kick can be a setup that leads into a finishing move.
Oh man,
that proves how fucking weak it is. It used to be one of the most devastating moves in pro wrestling.
Yes.
So devastating it was rarely done because only certain people were allowed to do it. You had to have that style of wrestling. You couldn't just do it because LOL. It can also end a match, as was the case when Dolph Ziggler defeated AJ Styles during an edition of SmackDown in 2016. Some veterans of the business may not like all of the kicks that they see in matches today, but they better get used to it. Or what? You said somebody better something, that's a threat. What the fuck you gonna do? The super kick is not going anywhere anytime soon, and thus we are calling it the most important wrestling move of all time.
Oh my goodness.
That's a stupid mark. That person literally, high school didn't fail them. They failed high school. They failed any school. Don't go to wrestling school. You'll fail that too. I could go to wrestling school and get further than this person on my thoughts alone. All of that was stupid. Now you see why I didn't read all this stuff one by one? Because it'd been a waste of time. This person is stupid. The list I came up with, nobody would probably like it. But there's a reason why I did it, because it's all the basics. It's all the stuff that people take for granted. Without the beginning of something, you can't get where you are today. You can't get there. So in order, and mine's not a list of the lowest to the highest. You can interchange this from 1 to 15. Any one of these can be number 1 or 15 or whatnot. So there is no leading from least to best or best to least. It's just, I just wrote the shit down that came to my head. So I'm going to list them off as I got it down here. Okay. Well, you know what? The last thing nope. I'm going to say that for last. Because they mentioned it at the top. And I agreed with it. But they fucked it up. Like, they fuck up everything, obviously. So number 1 for me is... Now, look, in the comment section, let me know if you agree with this or not. If you care to do that. Just list it 1 through 15. Just put agree or disagree. That's cool. I'll read it and be like, okay. If you got thoughts on why you agree or disagree, let me know. That's all good. You know I'm going to read your comments. I don't care who you are, you know. Now, if it's going to be like 2 weeks after I done post this, chance of me doing a thing on it is slim. All right. Don't mean I won't do it, but it's slim. All right. It's a little slim there. All right. Let me check to see if this thing is still recording. It is. It's picking my voice up. All right. Good. So number 1 down. And remember, this is not in any order of good to bad or anything. Okay. So number 1, body slam. Body slam is very important. Why? Because it's basic. Pick them up, slam them to the mat. Over time, what has it done? It's evolved from just your basic body slam. And it used to be a finisher. It used to be a finisher, y'all. Body slam and a higher body slam, a strong body slam. Hey, without the body slam, you don't get a power slam. You don't even get an Oklahoma Stampede. Just think about that. You don't get that without you don't get the gorilla slam, the one arm slam and all that. You don't even get the military press slam. Ultimate Warrior setup move for a splash. You don't get none of that. Body slam, best move when it comes to the Irish whip. Throw an opponent to the ropes and off and catch them with a clothesline, an elbow butt, headbutt, lariat, boot kick, jumping knee, crossbody. The Irish whip is an amazing move, and it can also tire your opponent out. Forearm strike. I mean, that's what it turned out. Hey, that's what you do. That's bare bone. Forearm strike. I ain't saying bare bone as in how you hit. Basics. Throw the forearm. You know, forearm shiver or which not you want to call it. But that's what you do because you don't want to just bust your hand up. Back in the day, they had to use the forearm because punching would something back in the day was a little more legit and, you know, before it got real carny. And then during the carny days, they learned to do other stuff. And the forearm, it makes a loud sound, but you're not doing as much damage, which is why they would usually forearm on the back. I'll get to that later, but you know, forearms came to the face. So the wrestlers knew how to tuck in. When the fan would get in there, they can't. They get laid out. You know? So then knee lift or strike. That was back in the day. Back in the day was brawling, forearm shots, knee strikes to the stomach, and well, the lower abdomen. And then ultimately, you know, you get low enough, they pop you in the face. You know, knee strikes. That's all it was. A corner brawl and get out the corner and then beat them up in the corner. That's what it was. So very important because without that knee lift, you don't get the jumping knee lift. You don't get the wrestling 2 knee lift. You don't get none of that. The jumping knee, you know, you don't even get the Beaumaye or nothing. So y'all think about that. Overhead forearm hammer. That's the one to the back. That's the one to the back. Make a loud sound. Keep the crowd going. Side headlock. That's the next one. Side headlock used to be a finisher. These used to be finishers and whatnot at one point. Okay. Oh, and that forearm strike, Tito Santana's finishing move. Come on. You know, you want some WWF, and he didn't even innovate it. You know, not that I can recall anyway. And after the side headlock, and you got the front headlock. Front headlock just as well. You know, side headlock, you know, you can take it bulldogs. You know, that's where that come from. Side headlock, run, drop them on their face. Side headlock, break them down, bridge back. Then you got the front headlock. It's a choke. It leads into a guillotine, a scissored guillotine, a DDT, set up for suplexes and other stuff. Front headlocks did a lot. Hammer throw. Y'all know what that is? That's when you throw them to the corner, not to the rope. That's the Irish whip. And there's some commentators that say Irish whip to the corner. So the hammer throw, I got that from Japanese game. They would call Irish whip for one side, but you know, to the ropes. But when it came to the corner, they would say a hammer throw. I never really got that. I figured it was just the Irish whip to the corner. But they called it a hammer throw, and no one that spoke English was calling it anything else. So I went what Japan did because they would always do deep dives when they come up with their wrestling game moves and stuff like that. They would do deep dives. Stomping. That's the heel move. All right. Back in the day, it was anyone. You get on the mat, they're gonna stomp you. That's what would happen. They stomp on you. Some would kick, and some would concuss. But stomping is what they started doing with the front of the toes, not the heel, because it's less impact and it's far more flexible and It's impact, but it's sound and appearance, not legit impact. You're going to feel it. You might get a little sting, but you're not getting bruised all to be gotten held down to your ribs or your kidneys. So that's good. And it's a great heal tactic for anyone to use, you know, or when the face gets pissed off enough, they'll start doing it. So stomping, that's good, but that's mainly a heal tactic. You want to know what, you know, if there was a number one, if I had to make anything a number one, it's the next one. Toe kick. That's Cedra's favorite thing. She loves a deep toe kick. The Gaia, the women wrestling, man, they used to throw a toe kick that made no sense. But you know what that toe kick does? Now that's the front short kick to the bread basket, the navel area, maybe a little bit below. Okay, I mean, I want to say a little bit. I'm talking about like an inch or two. One person that used it a lot throughout a match was Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit, matter of fact, Bret Hart, Owen Hart, Jim Neidhart. Damn, British Bulldog.
All of them, ain't it?
Yeah, every last one of them damn Canadians. Oh damn! I've just relearned or learned something or put it together. But you know what? They would do it. But now let's check this out. What's the setup for the stunner? Toe kick. What's the setup for most suplexes and whatnot? Toe kick. What move do they use to stun their opponent before trying something else? Toe kick. Nowadays they might use a chop, but usually it's that toe kick that sets up almost any and everything. Very simple. Very simple. All right, toe kick. That will probably be one of the most recognized, and people don't even think about that move. Simple but effective. Next one, twisting wrist lock, or as Gorilla Monsoon would say, the full arm dragon twist, or he would also call it the arm wringer. Only recently have I learned that it was also called a twisting wrist lock. So that's when you grab the opponent by the wrist, you lift it up, you duck under, kind of like a do-si-do up under their arm, and you twist it. They're bent over, their arm is twisted. Is rotated like 180, 190 or so degrees, and they have to lean over because you got them. And if you do it legit, yeah, that's about how it's going to be. You know. And you can use that hold to control your opponent like crazy. Dragging them to the mat, you can drag them to the corner. You almost got absolute control. That way is out of it. They can flip out of it and stuff like that. That adds to a little bit of gymnastics and whatnot that usually technical wrestlers would do if they were capable of doing it. Also, it was also used to go into a hammerlock from behind. So what's the next move? Hammerlock. Why? Because the hammerlock was part of a submission hold, as well as some more devastating submission holds, as others would use a hammerlock, flip over and bridge, almost hyperextending the elbow, the shoulder, and maybe the wrist, depending upon how they had it applied. The hammerlock is also used to get to the back of your opponent and then apply another move, or aid in using that arm to hook into a chicken wing or something like that. There were lots of things that hammerlock was used for. Control, calm down. It's also used in combat too. A lot of these moves can be used in combat situations. Even the body slam, depending upon. Oh, my ad, body slam. You know what that transitioned into at some point? You know what it evolved into? The Michinoku driver. You just think about that. Or the Hoovy driver, just because there's a thing about that. Next, headbutt. My 13 is headbutt. It's an illegal move. Why is it important? Because illegal moves help aid in the disqualification technique. Back in the day, headbutts were used only by the heels, and they could get you disqualified if seen, just like the punch. The punch was used that way. Eye rake is number 14. Illegal move. Clearly. Ref sees it, a warning. Ref sees it, disqualified. It helps. 15, already mentioned, punch. as the people the mark up there said the punch, about how it's just used and everyone uses work is a work. The punch was used by heels. It's usually done by the ref's back. I remember seeing Ric Flair do that. Everyone throw forearms. The ref, something happens to the ref. Pee Wee Anderson or what's his name, Nick Patrick or somebody. They get something in their eye, or they get bumped around a little bit. They fall down. Ric Flair reach over and punch Sting or somebody right in the damn face. And that punch usually gives them a strong advantage because that's what it's supposed to look like. You don't throw a forearm, they threw a knuckle and they hit them. So they're hurt. And if you see it once or twice, disqualification. That's how that went. Those are all of mine. Those are all of mine. I went straight down my little list. It's not more or less. It just is. But if there was one I would put saying at number one, that would be the toe kick. And no, I didn't. I could have put the chop up there, but in truth, chop is not even important. Hasn't won a match. It's good for the chop, if you want to know, is dangling the keys in front of everybody. Man, this match is going, but it's kind of bored. Smack! Whoa! It's dangling the keys. That's all that is. Now, let me say this. I call that dude a mark. I used to talk about, I'm going to clear this up. I used to talk about how, I want to be a mark for life. And I'm going to be honest with you, for some time, I haven't mentioned about, marks for life and stuff. Why? I was on the fence about it. Because I know what the wrestling mark is. Going on what Al Snow, Dutch Mantell, Dustin Rhodes, Jim Cornette, Brian Last, Arn Anderson, and quite a few others, Mick Foley, when they talk about the mark, it's basically go to the Carney days when they would see somebody out there and it's like, we need somebody that's going to kind of do something, play these games. Who's willing to spend some of that money? And if you got somebody that's going to be like, well, yeah, I'll spend this money on this game or that game, then they would give the high sign, letting all the booths know, hey, we got a person that's going to do it. And that person has been marked. That person has been marked. That person is the mark. That means you got them. And in wrestling, the marks used to be the fans because they believed it was real. We got them with the storyline. We got them with that heat in the ring. They got Dusty Rhodes down. They got him in the figure four. They come in and jump off the top rope with a stomp and break his leg. The fans are irate. They are pissed. They want to come over those ropes. We got them. That was the mark. That was the mark. And they believed it. But now, going on how things are, it's a subtle change. Why am I saying this? Because people is like, it's fake, it's a work, it's not real, yada, 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 and all that stuff. But they defend their wrestlers like teenagers would defend their favorite rock group back in the day. It's sort of that way. It's a culture of, I see it on Twitter where people be just, oh yeah, you are awesome, you're great, I can't wait to see you in ring again. I want in all this. And when someone insults a wrestler, then everyone has a dog pile on them, even if what they say is true. So I'm like, this isn't a mark thing, because this has nothing to do with wrestling heat, anger, the crowd getting riled up and getting behind their wrestler, supporting them as they go against the evil guy. Because now wrestling has de-evolved into no heels or faces. So now people are like, I like the moves you do. You get your shit in. And even though you look like a big, strong, gruff person, you got the voice of Mike Tyson sucking on helium. And you give your real name. You don't use your stage name, your pro name. Instead, you use your real name and talk to people out of character. if you even know what a character is. So these people, are they marks? I don't think so. They've gone really stupid. And so I've been on the fence, and I was thinking about that moment stuff, and then listening to Jim Cornette, listening to him talk about it, I was like, whoa. And he said, fans are fans, but these are marks. He's changing the definition, and he needs to, because even I was like, well, if the mark is this, and the people are acting like that, they're not marks. What are they? They're like fanatics, but weird. So I'm on the ropes. I'm on the fence, but I can't call myself or anyone that has respect for professional wrestling and what it should be. I ain't saying to harken back to the old days. You can put some new twist up in there, but not how this is. So the marks of these dumbass people out there that are defending these wrestlers like these wrestlers actually care about them. I'm a fan of professional wrestling. Professional wrestling. I don't know. Y'all can help me out. What do we call these people? Can't call them fanboys too much because some of them are girls. And all these fangirls, maybe fan persons. I don't know. But I guess maybe Cornette is right. They are the marks, but it's different because they're fucking idiots. Just how they do it. They're going to be mad at me? Fine, be mad at me. The thing is, I'm telling the truth, and since you don't want to change, you're gonna throw shade at me. That's fine. I've been hated all my life. People tried to attack me for saying thank you and you're welcome. So I really don't give a fuck if you're upset with me. So I don't know what to call it. Y'all help me out in the comment section for those that listen and whatnot. It's just, I gave my thoughts, y'all agree with me on stuff, disagree with me on stuff. Hey, let me know in the comment section what it is. It's all good. And if you are one of those people that do what I was saying and acting like the marks, the modern mark, then change or explain to me why you think it's good to do this silliness, defending people that don't care about you. Just because they might respond or like your tweet don't mean that they want to call you up and schedule a play date. So I'm just, whatever it is, you let me know why and all this other stuff. I'm always willing to listen. I'm always willing to learn. I just learned what an E-Fed aspect was today. E-Fed aspects, So, hey, I'm still learning stuff. And I learned that from somebody that I just really don't agree on style of promotion presentation. But I still watch their show and I still give it an upvote because they put in some work and I like the commentary. So I'm always give them an upvote. I'm always going to give them that watch time. And I'm going to look at the show and I mainly listen, but I'm going to watch the show. It's just what I do. So I'm going to get up out of here. I've rambled long enough and I hope you enjoyed this. If, like I said, say it for the last time, if you disagree with me on something, even if you agree, let me know what it is and why, and maybe I can learn something else. So with that said, even though she's been quiet and asleep half the time, if not most of it, this has been Cedric and Cedric for CR Wrestling Commentary. Good night, everyone.